Alright guys, so I think this channel is going to shift more towards ATVs and my rental business. A few reasons. One, most of the people who've actually rented from me, the ones who know what this is all about, they're not really on this channel. They're probably on RWW Rental. I don't get a lot of subscribers, people who rented from me. Not many of them subscribe to my channel, but there are a few. And two, I just need to let some things off my chest. There is therapy, like, you know how rappers kind of vent in their music, or singers, they kind of talk about the same thing or sing about the same thing. Well, this is kind of, this is it for me, essentially. Maybe 999 of you guys won't care, and that's fine, but even one of you guys thinking about starting your own rental business or getting into this game, maybe you guys will probably like this topic. Because this business definitely is wild, more so than I thought. But anyways, let's talk about the one machine that sums it all up. CFmoto, specifically the Z-Force. I love it and I hate it. I mean, hands down, I'm just gonna say it here, CFmoto, I think it's a great brand. It's been awesome. So the Z-Force 800, to me, honestly, it's a beast. Some little quirks here and there, but let's go over some of the specs. All of this is probably not gonna be 100%, just, I don't know, it's just based on different years and stuff like that. But the Z-Force 800, 800cc V-twin, 62 horsepower, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, independent suspension, of course, electronic power steering, 11 inches of ground clearance, the CV Tech transmission, comes stock with a lot of stuff as well, mirrors, winch, whatever, all included. Dollar for dollar, it's very hard to beat, especially when you run a rental fleet. It's reliable, capable, comfortable, and cheaper to fix when customers definitely crash them or roll them, which happens a lot. Tried up, definitely some steering needs to be replaced. This is all damaged and cracked. But the thing about the CFmoto, let me tell you what drives me nuts about it. The number one phone call I get is, hey, do you have a Razor? Or sometimes Polaris. No, I don't have a Razor, which technically I do. I do have 4-seater Razors. They don't really say, hey, what kind of side-by-sides do you have, or they just automatically call and be like, hey, you have Razors? Normally I'll reply, I'm like, well, we have things like Razors, and I say, no, I got the Z-Force 800, and they go, oh, what's that? Is it any good? And then instantly I start hearing and feeling that instant doubt, like hesitation. I feel like they link me to that Z-Force 800 being like some weird Chinese buggy that looks horrendous, like those dollar store versions of UTV rentals. You guys seen them, those cheap ATVs that are like $800. I think that's what they're relating it to. Now listen, this isn't coming from experienced off-roaders, because once in a while I do get people, they rent from me, like, oh yeah, I have a CFmoto back home. And it's funny, I never have any problems with them. I see them right on the trails and they know what they're doing. It's always the clueless tourist or folks who've been riding for a few months. They just picked up the sport and think they've got it all figured out because they got a Polaris 1000. I've literally had people say, oh, is that Chinese junk? I'm like, bro, do you even know where most of these parts come from? Like, newsflash, even the big name brands source a ton of parts from China or Taiwan. Of course, Taiwan has a little bit more quality parts, but it's not to say China also don't have quality parts. And yeah, that Chinese junk, if you tip it over, it's going to cost you a lot less than to repair a $30,000 Razor, or not even $30,000. You can get a used Razor for about $10,000. And I'm sorry, but yeah, you crack the trunk and that's going to cost about $800. But people don't want to hear that. They think Polaris is like the gold standard. They only think... Actually, it's funny because a lot of people think Razor is a brand itself, not a model from Polaris. But once in a while, people, you know, they're used to seeing Polaris so much that they think like, hey, this is like the system. They hear Polaris and suddenly they're experts on off-roading, trail systems, and machines. Meanwhile, they can't even tell the difference between national forest and an off-road park. Because I get a lot of calls too saying, hey, you're not on site. I'm like, or I tell them like, hey, I have to transport the units out to the national forest. We're not on site, it's government property. Oh, you're not on site? Like, no, we're not an off-road park. A lot of off-road parks are private property. Or if you're very lucky enough, you can get something right next to the national forest and they can take off from there. Or, you know, certain county roads. But unfortunately, Colorado is not like that. But I tell them like, yeah, you're riding over like 10,000, 20,000 acres. And people don't know the difference between 20,000 acres and 100 acres. Because we've been out there, oh, how many acres? Is this like 100 acres? And I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, but anyways, this business is definitely rough. People expect brand new, flawless machines. And in the beginning, sure, I was like that. But the problem is, it's not their machines. They want to take them out and beat the hell out of them on rough terrain. They roll them, they tip them all the time, they bring them back super scratched up. And when I charge for that, they act like I'm scamming them or something. I'm like, you do realize people come over here and they judge my machines for just a few scratches. I mean, I'm sorry, but I gotta change it up. I gotta fix that stuff, you know. What they don't understand is tip overs, they start adding up. It's not just the scratch. The panel starts getting warped. The doors don't close right anymore. Plastics, they get fatigued. Suspensions, the ball joints, all that stuff, they starts getting tweaked. Then the next guy comes in and sees some wear from real trail uses and goes, wow, this thing is all beat up. And I'm like, yeah, because it's a trail machine. I'm sorry, not really a showroom display. But it's a double-edged sword. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm not here selling an image. I'm selling adventure, and we're permitted by the National Forest to deliver these units, so you're paying for that convenience. But anyway, CFmoto might not have that street clout, but in my fleet, it's been way more reliable than Polaris, period. Yamaha, Honda, CFmoto, they've held up amazingly. Polaris, honestly, not so much. The only thing I do like about them is how easy it is to get parts because I need them so often. So yeah, I do love CFmoto, and I hate it not because of the machine. It's solid. Almost 6,500 miles. So overall, the problem is we deal with a mix of brand bias and perception, not actual machine performance. You know, I'm running a solid commercial ATV, UTV rental business. I choose CFmotos, Z-Force, C-Force because they offer solid value, good performance, reliability, and honestly, these guys are not doing anything crazy. A lot of them are just tourists. They've never ridden these things, or they only ridden 2 or 3 things. And you know, I buy these because they offer great reliability without the bloated price tag of Polaris or Can-Am. The problem is people call, they don't really care about the machine, they just want, hey, do you have razors? And when you immediately say no, they just assume your fleet is just lower quality.